How's everyone doing today? With age comes wisdom, and with wisdom comes lessons. And today I have a lesson for all of you. You are probably not her first pick. In fact, I'm going to tell it to you like this. The only reason you run into issues in your dating life, the only reason why that girl didn't text you back, the only reason why your girlfriend left you, the only reason why maybe your wife left you or cheated on you, the only reason why that girl you've been talking to for 3 months is pulling back or, has second thoughts about the relationship is because you are not her first pick. You're not her first pick. If you're in that situation where you are not her first pick, you need to always expect women to betray you. I'll say that one more time. If you are in that situation where you are not her first pick, you need to always expect women to betray you. And it doesn't matter how much you nurture the relationship. It doesn't matter how much you try to invest your time into chemistry building. It doesn't matter how much you do any of that. If you are not her first pick, expect women to betray you, because this is what you have to remember. You are probably not her first choice, okay? You're probably not the best guy she's ever had, and on top of that, there's a very high probability she wishes that she had somebody else. So if you weren't her first pick and you weren't her best option, you're not her first that she's been with, which means you probably won't be her last, which means you can expect her to betray you, especially if she doesn't view you as the top guy for her. I know that this is hard to internalize, but what you're going to see with age, okay, and this is me after coaching guys online now for so many years and making these types of videos, and I'm going to be 30 years old this year, or this coming year. If you notice any friction, you're out. You're out. No more communication, because it already shows you're not her first choice. What is friction? Friction is anything. If she doesn't return your phone call, if she, doesn't want to text message you anymore, anything like that, any friction, you're out. And you're not out because you're ghosting her. You're not out because you're playing hard to get. You're not out because you're demonstrating some type of tactic to create fear of loss. You're out because you're not going to give time to that situation anymore, because all that has happened is she has shown you and proven to you that you're not her first choice. You're not her first pick. This is why we have such a generation of men who constantly put women on the pedestal, because for some reason men have been conditioned to give more effort. And it makes sense. If you don't have the body you want yet, you put in more effort, you get the result in the gym. If you don't have the business you want, you put in more effort, you start to figure out how to excel in your career. With women, it doesn't work that way. If you notice friction, meaning she's giving you friction, like it seems like you're trying to communicate, but there's friction where it just doesn't seem easy. It's like she's either hitting you with a lot of time delays, or she's flaking on dates, or she seems like she doesn't really want to be with you. If you notice any friction, you need to just completely stop communicating altogether, and you need to find a woman who has higher interest in you. You need to find a woman who has more genuine desire. I've been doing these videos for a lot of years, and I can tell you this: there is not a single tactic or strategy that you can deploy into your dating method, if you want to call it that, to fix this issue. There's guys who tell themselves, if I just improve my text messaging, if I just wouldn't have used that one emoji, if I just would have taken 5 hours to reply instead of replying in 2 hours, now she would like me. This could not be further from the truth. This is coping, and it makes sense because we as men naturally want to take ownership and responsibility and put in the effort to win at life. It makes sense. I understand fully. In my younger years, I was in that same boat. I understood all that, and that's how I thought. I genuinely thought that there was something I had to do or something that I had to learn. And it couldn't be further from the truth. Instead, you need to step in who God has called you to be. Because there's only one of you and you are unique. And you are either going to fit the mold of the type of man that she's wanting or you don't. Some of it's timing. You meet a woman and you're the right guy for her at this specific time in her life. And at this specific time in her life, for whatever reason, you just do it for her. There's a bit of luck that goes into this. She needs to see the right character traits out of you that stimulates her desire. But if you are not her first choice, or if you are not her first pick, if you are not her first option, you have to just quit. You have to completely quit, and you have to move on instantly, and you have to find somebody who views you as that option. You have to quit. Any friction and you're out. Guys will tell themselves, if I would have just tried a little harder, if I would have communicated a little bit differently, if I would have said this one thing, if I would have done this through that text message, now I'd be her number one option. Now she would have chosen me over this other guy over here, and it's just not true. There's a lot of men spending time attempting to understand female nature to hopefully learn better tactics, when in reality what you need to do is you need to spend time being her first pick. Well, what does that mean? That means self-reflecting and doing all of the things that increases your SMV, okay, your sexual market value, to satisfy both her short-term dating desire as well as her long-term dating desire. If you can do that, you start to be the irreplaceable man that she cannot replace. You start to be the irreplaceable man that she wants to be with, because you satisfy both sides of hypergamy. Her short-term desires when it comes to her interest level, when it comes to intimacy and romantic desire that leads to the bedroom, but you also have all of these long-term traits alongside. But if you are not her first pick, there is no chance in attempting to fix the situation. You need to spend 100% of your time becoming the man you want to be, becoming the man you are called to be. And when you don't do this, you can always expect the woman to betray you, because your emotions are invested into a situation that is not actually rooted in truth. And what's rooted in truth is you have to look at the actual circumstances occurring. If she's not wanting to communicate, if she doesn't want to text you back, if she doesn't want to call you back, that doesn't mean try harder. That means she doesn't like you. She's not interested in you. And if she was, she would reply. Women are very covert, okay? A lot of times they're not going to give you a direct answer that signals rejection. They're not going to say, hey, sorry, I'm not interested. They're typically not going to hurt your feelings. What they want to do is they just want to cut communication or slowly distance themselves in hopes that you just get the hint. That's what women want to do. So if you notice any friction, just quit replying. If you notice any friction, just exit. Exit the situation and quit. This is what you have to do. Now, what does a guy have to do now once he has learned this? He has to spend all of his time becoming her best option. You have to become her best option. You have to become her number one pick. If you are not her number one pick, you're in for a rude awakening, because she's constantly going to be comparing you to the guys who were her first pick. She's constantly going to be comparing you to the men who actually stimulated that real desire that she felt. So keep this in mind. The reason why you have to be her first pick is because you have to understand you're probably not her first choice, which means you're probably not the first guy she's been with, and you probably won't be the last, which means you're just another guy that she talked to. And she doesn't care if that upsets you, because she's optimizing hypergamy for herself. Now, whether she actually is successful in that or not is a different situation, because a lot of women hope that they find Mr. Perfect, Mr. Right, the perfect guy for them, and it never ends up happening. Mr. Handsome, Mr. Charming, Mr. Perfect, call it whatever you want, the title or the name to be. A lot of women don't ever find that guy. Most don't. But they keep hoping and hoping and hoping. I want you to invest 100% of your time into becoming who you were called to be. Sorry, there's an airplane. I like filming outside now as I kind of get older, I guess. When I was younger, I loved, so much of my scripted, like, marker board presentations. And I still do. I'm still going to make those. But lately, I've really just enjoyed sitting outside and just talking with you guys. Now, keep this in mind. Every girlfriend I've ever had, like, let me give you the situations and the context so you can understand what genuine desire looks like. Because over the past 11 years of dating, I've been with a variety of women, and I've been on a lot of dates, and I've seen actually what happens. But the women that I've dated long term, who are like my girlfriend, this is the behavior that I've noticed. They have high interest in me, okay? And they think that naturally I was attractive. This is what I've noticed. So whatever it is, I just do it for them. That's what I've noticed. That's first. And what I mean by that is one girl you talk to might view you as a 5, and a different girl you talk to might view you as an 8, 9, or a 10. That means you need to deal with the women who view you as their type. Everybody has a type. There's a lot of attractive people, but you have to remember, you want to be her type. So that's important, number 1. You want to be her type. Number 2, a lot of times the women would initiate the communication. They initiate the communication. They'll initiate the hangout. They'll initiate the next date. They'll say, I can't wait to see you. They'll say, what are your plans this weekend? They'll initiate the phone call first, the FaceTime call first. A lot of times as you get deeper into the relationship, they'll say, where is this going? Do you see a future with me? I really see a future with you. I'd love to be with you one day. If you don't see that behavior out of the woman that you're talking to or attempting to talk to, I'm sorry, but she just doesn't like you. Now, if you fall into that category, you need to spend more time making yourself more desirable. And that's the only thing that you can do. So what did I do to help you with this? What did I do to help make you as desirable as I possibly can with all of the knowledge and all of the thousands of, clients or customers that I've had in my, communities and products over the years? What did I build and what did I do? I created a community and I call it Headman Nation. Headman means chief or leader of tribe. Okay, and I think that that's important. You want to step into that. Me, myself, I am stepping into that. I went online and I typed in my last name. I said, what does my last name mean in the Bible? Zander. It literally means defender of man. I thought that was interesting. Defender of man. And coincidentally, I created a brand or a community called Headman Nation. I think that that's interesting. Me personally, I feel like I was meant to do this. I always have. When you get into that community, you're surrounded by thousands of other guys. Right now we have over 2,000 guys in there. And I'm helping them learn, understand, and master the language of women. Now, let's take a step back and let's say, hey, why did Casey call it the language of women? Because I believe this is a language that a man has to be able to speak. Women. You have to be able to speak to women properly. Women think about attraction through the mind. Words alters their emotions, alters their perception, alters how they feel. If you communicate effectively and properly at different stages of the relationship, you're going to retain her interest. And that's why I made this, was so that way when you do find that woman who has really high desire in you, you know how to retain her interest in the relationship so she doesn't leave you. She doesn't leave you heartbroken, and she doesn't desire to go and cheat on you. That's why I made this. I want you to see what I built because it's my life's work. And I'll tell you this, every year I keep getting better at this. Every year I keep making new stuff. Every year I keep staying on my path and staying on my purpose. And I get better with age. I genuinely believe that. I believe every year I get better with age. I get smarter at teaching these things. I find better ways to communicate with my audience, which is you guys. Every one of you watching this video specifically. I get better. And I think that that's important. Like, as a man, you want to get better. Every year you want to look at your life as you progressing and getting better. And there's going to be different evolutions of yourself too each year that you notice you step into. Because who you are each year changes and evolves because you learn new things and you acquire more wisdom. The men that I see in life that make progression are open to that wisdom, and they chase excellence to some degree, and they keep persevering. You know, the men who end up having repetitive cycles in life where their career doesn't go the way they want it to, their dating life doesn't go the way they want it to, they're not putting in the work to further develop. So every year what I try to do is I try to further develop. I advise you to have the same belief as me, because I've realized in my life that helps me get to where I want to be. And I think if you adapt to that same mindset, you will win too. Which is why I want you to take that next step and join us inside of that community. Because I truly believe after this many videos, I understand these topics and these conversations better than almost anybody, which is why I wholeheartedly believe that I can help you. Hit the like button, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.